Hi again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Horse Race Bets with me, Ken Rudulph. It is episode number 14 here on Thursday, February the 6th in the year 2025. A lot to get to as we're less than 90 days away from the Kentucky Derby. We'll talk more about that as we make our way through this week, but we have to start with our news update today. A lot happening in terms of what's going on with the news of horse racing. A biggest development taking place in Florida on Wednesday. The decoupling bill actually passed through subcommittee, a subcommittee of about 14 members, where there were a couple that did not vote, but it made it through. Actually, 18 members were a couple that did not vote, pardon me, and they made it through. What does that mean? That means that they'll have a chance to continue moving this piece of legislation forward. It's House Bill number 105, and that's decoupling at Gulfstream Park. And what that means is they want to separate the slots from the horse racing. Right now, if you have those slots at a track, a casino there in Florida, you have to run some live racing dates there. Now they want to separate those things, and they say that they shouldn't get in the way of business because it's bad for business to force these casinos or tracks to run live racing. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so that's what they're moving forward with right now, and this will have an impact, obviously, on Gulfstream Park, which is huge, but it also impacts Tampa Bay Downs. Now, Tampa Bay does not have a casino, but they have a card room, and that would make it eligible for them to decouple and separate the two things. They're arguing, saying that this would help horse racing to stand on its own and be independent. We'll see if that works out. As I mentioned, it will impact Gulfstream Park, and it will impact Tampa. Okay, and so with that, speaking of Tampa, there's action at Tampa this week. If you've got Tampa Bay Downs, we'll have the spotlight on them solely. They have the only Kentucky Derby prep race of the weekend. It is the Sam F. Davis. It is race number 11 in a card of 12 races on Saturday. It's a great looking card, and it's a really, really interesting race because it's pretty wide open, right? There are certain horses you have to watch, one of them being a horse by the name of Poster. And Poster was really impressive as a 2-year-old. He was undefeated, won his first 2 starts on the turf, then won his 3rd start on the dirt. That kind of versatility is what players really like. I'm sure this horse is talented, but there's no way I'm playing this horse on Saturday. I'm playing against this horse because I know he has class, but he's coming back off the layoff, and it's something a little bit new. So I'm like, nah, you're just going to have to beat me and take my money. Now, other horses to watch in there would be a horse named Owen Almighty. He's got some early speed, but more importantly, he's got Irad Ortiz Jr. in the irons. I don't know if they'll try and dictate the pace because there are some sprinters stretching out and other speed, including a horse that Doug O'Neill trains. Man, if Doug O'Neill's got a horse, you have got to watch out. Always. So we'll see how that affects the pace. But I really like Treaty of Rome. This is a horse that I think is going to absolutely love the distance. He ran into Lone Speed last time out, a horse by the name of Guns Loaded. It was Lone Speed, and Treaty of Rome could not get to him. He made up some ground. He did a great job. But Lone Speed, Louis Saez is in the irons with Guns Loaded, and there's no way you're going to pass him in the stretch. Forget that. But I like the way that Treaty of Rome, I like the way he ran. I think he's going to get a perfect setup here. He's not going to be great value, but with the presence of Poster, he's probably going to be 7-2, maybe 9-2, and that's great value for me in a race like this. So that's what's coming your way this weekend on Saturday. We'll talk more about this race and horses to watch and try to get specific into what we are looking for. But before we do that, I want to go back and touch on some things that are really important, kind of the basics of what we're doing here. Simple. How to make money betting on horses. It's not willy-nilly. It's not superstition, right? This is science. It's data. It's information. And that information is power. That information is power and knowledge. All of that puts you in the right spot. But you have to understand sort of the plan. What are you trying to do, right? How do you make money betting on horses? Well, you need to have some discipline and you need to have some rules. And here are the rules. You got to get your R's together. When they talk about reading, writing, arithmetic, it's the same thing, same concept. You got to get your R's in place. How to bet on horse racing? It's all about the R's. research is the very first place that you will start. And what I mean by that is research the track that you want to play. Usually it'll be a track that might be close to you geographically, or maybe just a track you're like, hey, I heard it's really fun to play in New York, or I heard it's really fun to play Churchill, or I heard it's really fun to play Gulfstream, whatever. Select the track, then go to equibase.com, and from there you can check out on all the stats. And what you want to look for is the jockey and trainer stats for that track. That's the first place to start. Trainers, jockeys working together with a nice percentage, and they bring in a nice ROI. And that's a good place to start in terms of, okay, where am I going to play? Now, once you've decided that, you have to go to your next R, and that's resources available. And the resources are drf.com and brisnet.com. Those are good resources for race information, the horses, their pedigree, the distance, right? That's very, very important. And as you start looking at those, especially the past performances at drf.com, you will start to understand the numbers behind it. And we'll get into that a little bit later on. Once you decide, okay, I've done my research, I've utilized my resources, now it's time to play, make sure you restrict. That means you stay within your budget. So when you start off, maybe your budget is $50. Great, that's fine. Only play win wagers, the exacta wager, which is the top two finishers, and then your doubles. That's a parlay. That means the winner in race number 1 and the winner in race number 2. Got to have them together, then you cash. That's a double. Or races 2 and 3 or 3 and 4, whatever you want to do. Keep it simple and stay within that and restrict yourself to what you're doing there. Because once you start to get outside of your restrictions, now you're ruining your whole plan. You start to decimate your bankroll and you completely eliminate any chance of ROI. That's return on investment. And speaking of the return on your investment, the last R, reward yourself. Reward yourself. When you win, reward yourself by now playing bigger bets. And also, let's say you started out with $50, okay? And then you won some bets and now you're at $250. Cash out. Cash out, take 150 of that 250, bring yourself back to 100. So now you have put away 150, but you're up 50 for the day that you started with your 50. And now, once you pull that money away, it's harder for you to put that back into the account that you're playing or the ticket that you're using, the voucher that you are using at the track if you are playing live. All of these things are important. Of course, you'll have to find an account, like an online service or an app that's applicable in your state. All of those things we can talk about as we continue making our way through. But you have to start with these rules. Research, resources, restrict, reward. Super important that you adhere to the structure. That way, you won't put yourself in a spot where you've kind of ruined your whole bankroll and the day just started. Now you're going back to the ATM again, your friend Adam, or you're making another deposit into the account, and you don't want to do that. In fact, you want to try to play with quote-unquote house money or track money as long as you possibly can. All right, so if you understand what we're doing there, right, that's kind of the parameters, the baseline rules, and we'll continue to talk about how to make money doing this as we make our way through this conversation that we're having. But then we'll try to put that into practical application. What does that mean? That means today we're going to, once again, try and play. So we have done the first R. We did our research, right? We decided that we were going to play Turfway Park because according to our research, Turfway Park has the best return on investment, best bang for your buck. Pick 5 that was put forth yesterday, the early pick 5 paid $10,000. The late pick 5 paid $3,000. That's on a 50-cent play. And you get great value with that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to play that late pick 5 at Turfway Park starting in race number 6. We start with the speed in here. And so if you do the research, I've gone to DRF, gone to Brisnet, figured out that certain connections do really well together. The number 4 horse is called Unbridled Talent, Michelle Elliott, and my favorite rider there, Fernando de la Cruz. They do very well together. They're winning at 12%, $2.33 coming back on their mounts. That's a nice return on investment, getting just over that $2 coming back. So you're doing well. That's the speed of the field. Unbridled talent will be gone out of the gate. Then the question is, will someone be able to catch them? Missy B is definitely a horse that can catch them. Missy B doing a great job. Nice turn of foot. Ran second last time out against similar competition. So if somebody decides to go with our speed, the 4, that sets it up for closers. The best closers in the field, the 2, Missy B, and the 6, Vino's Angel, who was a winner last time out, beating who? The number 2 horse, Missy B. So we know speed's going out with the 4, 2, and 6 are class and closers. We use those 2, and hopefully we're able to move along. You have to have a single. Single means you're only using 1 horse in the race, and that's what we're doing in race number 7. 6 furlong maiden claiming event. Whiskey Reserve closed and was a winner last time out, but was disqualified because he bumped another horse in the stretch. It was minor, but I understand it. But it was minor. And it isn't like he's a horse that always has trouble. He got to Turfway Park in the last 2 starts. He has improved dramatically from his first 2 starts of his career at Gulfstream Park. So you can see he's in good form. He's got a nice rider and a nice style. Hopefully he's not too far back, but he has a nice running style, and I think he'll be able to pick them up from off the pace. So you're alive after 2 legs. You go to race number 8, the 3rd leg, $15,000 claimer, non-winners of 2. I really believe in keeping things as simple as possible at Turfway Park, because once you start adding horses, it will never stop. It will never stop, because the devil is alive and working at Turfway Park. But I'm going to go with the 6. I got a Bolt. Horse that has a great closing kick. Now, it's hard to say a horse that's won 1 time in 23 starts has a great closing kick, but that's what I think. I got a Bolt. I think we'll be making the move from off the pace. He'll have to come and get the horses to the outside, specifically the 12. Serene Waters. I think she'll be in a great spot. She's turning back slightly in distance, but she's got some early speed. I think she'll be in the mix. And after you kind of go outside of those 2 horses, now you're pushing 3, 4, 5, 6 horses. And to me, it's too much on certain days. You just can't do that on a regular basis. So we're alive, we hope. We move on to race number 9, the 4th leg. Now we decide to open things up in here because the inside horse, Guinevere, has some speed. It's a Wesley Ward runner, and this horse is stretching out. This race is 1.25 miles. That's going to be long, and speed's going to be really valuable, and the 1 has the ability to dictate everything. If he can't hold on to it, the 4, Ms. Sedona. That was the winner last time out. Doing what? Going 1.25 miles over the synthetic at Turfway Park. It's not easy to do. But you know what else is even more difficult to do? Winning back-to-back races at Turfway Park is dang near impossible. But we'll use that favorite because we know she has a nice turn of foot. Then you want to go with others you think that have a chance and they represent value. I love the 8, my favorite rider, Fernando de la Cruz, another filly with a nice closing kick. And now, went 1.25 miles last time out, and she ran second going 1.25 miles. So I think she's going to be in the mix as well. And then to the outside is the 9, who also ran second going 1.25 miles on the synthetic last time out. These horses all come out of 3 different races going 1.25 miles, but they're all going to be in the mix. So Kiss Blue to the outside has the rating style, meaning she can sit close to the speed and then get the jump on the horses who are closing, meaning they're further back and they have a lot more work to do. All right, we feel good. We're alive now. We get to the final race, 6 furlong maiden claiming event. The 6, Warheaded, is a horse that looked really good in the debut performance back on January the 3rd, going 6 furlongs against a little bit softer competition. So now they step up. And you know what? He's got good pedigree. Eddie Keneally, nice trainer. And Luan Machado does a great job as well. They have a nice percentage together, winning at 11%, which we'll take that. And that horse should be in the mix. But the horse that I think is going to be really tough is the speed. Canavero, that's the 9 horse. 3-1 on the morning line. Has shown really good speed in all 4 of his starts. And he's been second in 3 of those 4 starts. He's got speed. He's now making his second start off the layoff. What does that mean? So he raced on February the 29th, leap year of last year. February 29th, 2024. Did not come back until January the 1st, 2025. Almost an entire year away. And showed great speed and almost won the race. Now you come back, you've had some more workouts, right? Horse is now ready to kind of get it into gear. Second off the layoff, fitness automatically will improve. They will have to go and catch the 9. That's how we're going to play the situation at Turfway Park. And it's a 50-cent play, but we're going to play for $1. That means it cost us $48 for this play at Turfway Park. You can go anywhere and play it, and hopefully you'll be able to put it in and get a nice result. Of course, we'll come back and check in on the result when we see you again next time. The pick 5 we played on Wednesday. Our single came through. Remember, we singled in the first couple of legs. We ran third in the first leg. The single won the second leg. We had some coverage and got a price later on. And then our single in the last race ran third. Right there in the mix. They're all in the line and ran third. So you just have to have racing luck, and it works out. Hopefully we'll get the kind of racing luck we're looking for Thursday at Turfway Park in Florence, Kentucky. Coming up, we'll see you again on Friday. We'll talk more about what's happening with the Sam F. Davis. In the meantime, and in between time, and until next time, I'm Ken Rudolph. We'll see you on Horse Race Bets, and good luck and enjoy whatever you're into.